questions from you all through our different social media channels and through our email system as well. We are living in the most incredible times, but it's so much more than about choice. It's about clarity. We have often shared with you that at the end of 2012, there was a huge shift in consciousness on Earth, as so many of you chose in your heart of hearts to live in peace. While your media has continued to share about the 5% of chaotic energies in your world since that time, people have begun to do what's required to make those little adjustments in their life so that their heart's desire to live perhaps a more authentic life could be fulfilled. You notice that we always use the word we, so we want you to imagine a huge network of energy, an energetic network that this one, me, is plugged into right now, as we all are, because we're all plugged into the web of one. I know it doesn't feel like that perhaps when we're operating in those busy beta brain frequencies, but when we are still, when we take the time, as we all have now in this lockdown energy, to just unhook from the busyness of this amazing world, this hologram called life on Earth, then we start to access something very, very pure, as you know, and very, very wise and loving that is also vibrating through this matrix at the same time. This is the ancient art and invitation of meditation, contemplation, time and silence, stillness. And when we can unhook, and we do unhook consciously as metaphysicians and meditators do, we can drop into a whole new hologram. We've already shared many things. We shared the up-leveling coding with you. And what we wanted to share about this right now is, in this time of not just an individual awareness of all the vibrational zones we can access and the way that we can tune ourselves consciously to drop out of the hologram called life on Earth in the dual-natured world and drop into the web of one, where there is no separation, there is no segregation, there are no countries, there are no races, there are no genders. It's just like, the interconnectedness of all. Such a delicious experience, as so many of you know. When we can just drop, unhook, we start to become very, very detached. And this is something we wanted to share about for a moment, that when we up-level just this code to not just work at our own pace, because many of you have been aware of the web of one and the interconnectedness of all for so long, but we are working with a mass ascension reality, which means we've got to maintain blossoming with the global matrix, with every one of those ones who said in their heart of hearts at the end of 2012, yes, I'm ready to live in peace. If this end of the Mayan calendar is a new time, then I know how I want to operate now. So they began with that prayer to just consciously unhook. So now we're at a time of big changes, rapid changes, fast changes, because we had that prayer that we wanted to up-level. We wanted to move into a different matrix where we were living more authentic self lives. So everything's been building from that time. And we know that there is this hologram of the good and the evil and whatever, but that's just the dual-natured games, the play. There are many other holograms available that are more enlightening, that we can drop back into. So there's an up-leveling time now as we presented with the code. We are up-leveling ourselves. We are allowing ourselves to be more in silent stillness. We are allowing ourselves, because of lockdown, shut down, to be less engaged in the busyness of the doing and be more still and more looking at our lives, having the opportunity, as we've shared in other videos, for real honest self-assessment about how we want to operate and finding a new way to be in the flow of time at home and also with each other and with our community. So we are up-leveling now. We have the opportunity to just tap into some very, very pure and powerful and peaceful frequencies through this coming back to the now and being very present with that energy that has given us life, if we want to use our time like that. But we need to also up-level in a way that allows what we're carrying to support the matrices around us and everyone around us who in their heart of hearts said, yes, I'm ready, I'm tired of the beta brain frequency, dual-natured world, and I'd like to experience a different way of being in this next chapter of human evolution. And so many have done this, and this is what we call the awakening. This is this initial prayer of, yep, I'm ready, what else is there? That's the beginning of what we call an intergalactic merge. And we'll share more about that in a moment. So here we have the awakening and the awakened ones, you guys watching this, and we are being asked to just up-level a little bit, not so there's separation between the dual-natured worlds and those living in unity consciousness, but so that we are anchored in unity consciousness experientially ourselves, so that we are relaxed at this time, we are peaceful at this time, we have a higher awareness of what is going on at this time, but that we also hold the frequency that is just the right voltage for others around us to up-level. And so our up-leveling code was very much about asking, having clear intention to just go into that next frequency, that next pattern of energy that we were born to hold and embody at this now moment on planet Earth. Because when we're just in alignment with the rising of the collective, then it's like up-level a little bit, they rise from what we're all holding, the energy we're holding. Then we up-level a little more and they rise from the energy we are holding. We can go into all sorts of holograms right now. I wanted to share a little bit about this, about what I've been witnessing as a person working with the languages of light. Now, the languages of light are that how we communicate in the higher realms. The we, as I said, being the beings, I am woven with the web. And I've been woven over these last 47 years with amazing matrices, from the matrices of the ancient Vedas and the wisdom that's held there, right through to the Christed matrices from my initial experiences of being exposed to the teachings of Jesus, from my exposure to the teachings of the Essenes, from my exposure to the teachings of off-planetary civilizations who are really family. So please don't see any of the beings of light, the blue line beings, as anything but family. They are our intergalactic kin. And we shared about the differences of the blue line beings and the red line beings and the green line beings. And, you know, the ones that are really perpetuating the duality hologram are the red line beings, you know, the One World Order, Illuminati. And that's a very real matrix. This is a very powerful hologram. So what we witness with my Jazz, because we want to explain that when we are woven into these types of matrices, I can see with my inner eyes inside out to the higher realms of unity consciousness of the beings who live in unity, and they can see through our hookup, through my eyes, all the multi-levels happening on Earth, but they do it more from a starship point of view, so they're more detached again. So they can look a lot at what's happening on Earth. So we get the visuals, but we get it through third eye, not just through physical eyes. So we can see the energy patterns and the flows, and everything is just vibration and frequency and harmonics and keynotes and energy flows. But we can also hear telepathically on all levels, because the languages of light mean we hear with the inner ear. We connect in mind to mind, not with the voice box. We can also sense the vibrational transmissioning of everyone around us. So the languages of light are a way of being in the higher realms, where in just one focus, everything about somebody or something can be revealed. And so the transmission is quick. It's like just a okay, got it. No need for blah, 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 and a lot of words and explaining. It's just the ability to pick up a lot quickly, because every part of our systems have been activated now to the highest level, and we're operating at our full potential. But because we are on planet Earth and we are subjected to 7.5 billion other holograms, the experience of that on Earth in the body can be toned down a little bit. So we have to be in the now moment detachment to really step back, and that's the gift meditation gives us, the ability to see it all from higher perception through operating in the languages of light, the frequency spectrum. So clairvoyance, your clairaudience, your clairvoyance, your clairsentience, all of this is absorbing information from all realms. But again, our baseline, our keynote determines what realms can be revealed and what holograms can be revealed. Bit of an explanation. So what I've been noticing, what we've been noticing through the webs is so interesting, and my guys would like to talk about it. We would like to talk about it, how I saw it, which is like balloons. It's like everybody's here, I'm on planet Earth, and I have my little balloon of reality. It's my hologram. So if you could imagine 7.5 billion people holding this little balloon, which is a circular field of reality that we call a hologram. Now, that is fed constantly with this energetic hookup between you and the balloon, this string, and this is fed by your feeling. When you can drop into the field of love and peace, this up the string of the balloon, but the balloon isn't outside of you, it is you, it's your totality of your energetic field, but let's see it as balloons. So you feed, the more you go into love, the more you go into joy, the more you go into peace, the more you go into higher knowing, then and your hologram, your model of reality, your bubble, your balloon of reality is peaceful, loving, and it becomes like a beacon. So when I look in the fields, we look in the fields, we can see all these gazillion holograms around Earth, but we want to explain two more things energetically. You have a vibrational hologram of unity consciousness that is anchored in the core of our world from the inner Earth kingdoms. Now, you know the inner Earth kingdoms were the Atlanteans who went there, some of the light beings who came in from that Atlantis time when we had a free exchange of coming and going from the unified realms and beings of higher consciousness, often coming in without starships because their energy field is their starship. So they would zoom in, zoom out. Sometimes there were consciousness-assisted craft coming and going as well. But a lot of the higher technology from the unified realms was being utilized in the time of Atlantis. And you know many stories about that time. So the remnants of those kingdoms ended up in inner Earth, in an inner Earth civilization. And again, you can do research, and it's not my field of expertise, but it's there. All I see as a commander with the Intergalactic Federation of Worlds, which I am, it's one of my roles. So all we see is this beautiful hologram, which is like a balloon. And it's like, oh, it's beautiful. It's an awakened society. It's a unified society. And it's just best frequency transmission. Then you have the Christed grid around the world, and that is being stabilized now by the energy transmission of all the different civilizations who have had contact here. They've either come in and had physical embodiments over various periods of time. They came in at Atlantis, maybe they were here through Lemuria, maybe they're the new star children coming in, maybe they had training like I did at specific star systems and then chose to incarnate and be activated at this particular now moment to hold particular frequencies, as our Pleiadian friends are always saying. So there's so much now beaming in to what we call the energy matrix around the world that people call the Christed grid. Now, the Christed grid is called Christed because it's a grid of love. It's part of the matrix of what they call the master builder race that have been around Earth for a long, long time. Part of those doing all the genetic encodement of us, so that we actually are now having 22 different genetic codes with high skill sets to access as we blossom. So as we let go, as we just relax, as we do the simple I am pure love, I am infinite, I am eternal coding, the multidimensional nature that we are rises, and the energy it carries unlocks our skill sets and key codes and all the genetic strengths we are carrying from our time and training in other star systems. So maybe you're a master of the higher light science, or you've had training there as I did in the Arcturian system. And in the Arcturian system and in many of these systems, we don't take physical food. We work with the unified field energy. We work with source energy. We allow baseline to be dominating our system and to feed us and free us. So there's no need to slaughter any animals. There's no need for the farming of animals. There's no need for farming of crops. There's no need for any of the things that planet Earth has been involved in. Agriculture disappears, for example. We don't need it. We grow everything for beauty, that's all. It's not for need because we're fed differently. So I became activated to demonstrate that and live that and share that in the early 90s Was our world ready? No way, it was not ready, and there was a lot of biofeedback of you're crazy, you're a fraud, etc. But that's okay, that's just what happens. It's part of education with new paradigms. So what we've seen is all of you now, as you drop back, and I'm talking just to the few of you listening, just to the light workers, as you relax and claim who you really are with the I am pure love, I am infinite, I am eternal coding, which is designed to activate you, as you use perhaps the other code we gave you for up-leveling in previous videos, as you claim the hologram of love and peace, that too activates you, up-levels you to another level, so that your training, your gifts, everything you're carrying from previous timelines on planet and off can really come to the fore and vibrationally hold certain frequency spectrums at this time. So let's go back to balloons. How I've been seeing it, and we've been recording it, is when we look through starships, and our starships are now all around your world, strategically placed, and you've been drawing our presence to you more and more. Many different types of starships, but that's a different discussion. So around the world is our Christed grid, and a lot of beam-in energy is supporting this particular phase of your evolution. But let's look at two grids. We have the vibrational pulsation of the inner earth unified field matrix. We have around the world the Christed grid matrix. We have between those two matrices 7.5 billion people holding their little energy balloons tightly. This is my model of reality. And they're investing in it energetically by what they're feeling and by what they're thinking. So our educational paradigms and the games we were born to play are feeding this all the time. So you might have somebody, or you do have rising now, quite a strong hologram that is the them and us reality of the good guys and the bad guys, and the good guys are winning, and it's all about the light, and we have to vanquish the darkness. And this is a really interesting hologram, and it is so mesmerizing, and many people are like, wow, is this real? Is this not real? And for many of the light workers who came in to reveal this sort of holographic drama that plays out in all dual-natured zones, it's a very important game to play, and there's great learning in that. So you could say many people are focused on this right now. Is it a time of Armageddon? Is it a time of, all the stuff that's out in the web? So you have that as an amazing hologram, but then you have other holograms of people who are just letting all the media go, and they're just like, wow, I have a time to rest. I have a time to breathe. I have a time to just step back and get off the busyness Vita brain treadmill. I have a time to love my family. I have a time to really connect deeper with my children or my husband or my wife. I have a time to trust that all will be okay. Because when we look back at our life, and this was one thing the light beings once said to me, Jazz, when you look back on your life, linear time life, can you see that you always were given everything you needed at the time? Not what you wanted, but what you needed? And I would go, yeah, actually, when I look back on these last 6.5, nearly decades of my life, I can see how perfectly I was always taken care of. Has it been easy? No. Life is never easy for the bringers of change. When you've descended from the unified realms, one of the first things you do is like, oh my God, what am I doing in this world? It just does not feel like home, because home to the light workers is the unified realms, but we forget we carry home inside us. And so we spend a lot of time looking around, getting a bit distracted because we're empaths. We're highly sensitive beings who are working with the languages of light, and we're picking up so much from this matrix called the hologram of duality and trying to find our way. And eventually we wake up and we start to realize more and more as we detach and as we go into higher perception that it is just movies of reality or holograms that we have the choice of free will to play in. So we can give our attention to anything, and as soon as we do, as soon as we give mental attention and emotional attention to something, we shoot up this power, electrical power, electromagnetic energy into the balloon called our hologram, and it then sends out signals to other balloons to come, and like attracts like, and so a hologram builds, and so a hologram grows, and so a movie of reality that the collective are holding tends to dominate that reality field. This is just science. And remember, we're not looking at religion. We're not looking at anything as being right or wrong. We're just talking about the nature of holographic reality as I've been trained with the Intergalactic Federation and my work there to see that. So what I've noticed as an interdimensional energy field science is we are at a time now on Earth of bouncing holograms between these two grids, the Christed grid and the unified field that our inner Earth people are holding. What we're noticing is there's the sandwich. We did this human sandwich video for you quite some time ago, and the energetic impulses coming from the sacred power places and from the awakened ones as well. So the awakened ones who understand the holographic nature of all zones, that they are just movies of reality that we can step into if we want to, because it's just play. All our light beings say, play, play, play. You are born to play with energy. You have this co-creative and creative ability. You can descend into any star system and play with the matrix that is the dominant matrix in that star system, or you can create and bring with you a new matrix. It's like cultural exchange. So many of you have descended now, as I have, to bring in a pattern from the unified realms, from your family, from other star systems, and to hold and embody that pattern of unity consciousness on Earth now. Now, the pattern of duality, the hologram of duality of good and evil and light and dark, and we're winning, no they're winning, no they're shrinking and we're rising, all of that is mesmerizing and so much fun. Not when you're deep in it, but when you look back, when you step back and you go, whoa, that was a really interesting reality. Darkness, darkness, ooh, but I'm of the light, 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 love, love. And you see the power of this biofeedback game of control. Control, it's control, whether we're wanting to control it with a lot of love or we're wanting to control it with a lot of separation games. It's just a hologram. It's just a really interesting drama which we learn so much from by playing in. In the unified realms, all of that has disappeared, and you all know, I know, a very different way of being. We know, we descended for a reason. We descended to be here now. We descended to allow the knowingness, the knowledge, the experience we have of living in deep unity consciousness to rise. So what we transmission now is a very stabilizing frequency for those who are ready to step out of the movie theater or the hologram called life in the dual-natured worlds. But that means we need to embody it. We need to let this layer, because it's just a vibrational layer within it, we need to let it rise. We need to let it, I remember what it was like to live in true unity consciousness. I have this knowing. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to live in the dominant frequency of compassion, of care, of true friendship, of mutually beneficial relationship, of peace, but of awe and wonder at the beauty of creation and its holographic nature. Because when you look at quantum and the reality of entanglement and all of that, the work that so many of our scientists are doing to really bridge the metaphysicians now, when you have a look at that, you know that nothing is alive until you give your attention to it. This universe is almost still. And yet when we give our attention, it becomes the thin edge of a piece of paper to a wide paper where you can see all the holograms of reality that will absorb you or not. But detachment from meditation allows you to just be so still in the timelessness of the now moment that you transcend time and you are flooded with the most amazing frequencies that allow all that you carry at your core to just blossom like a flower, a much higher perception. So many of you now are taking this lockdown time, as I am, to just let it all go, let it all go, let it all go, because holographic realities are so mesmerizing. Turn on the TV, it's like, wow, that's so interesting. Wow, what's humanity doing now? And it's not like we don't have compassion, because there are the levels of suffering in the dual-natured hologram are so intense, and every compassionate being feels compassion when anything is suffering. The suffering of the animal kingdom for so long, because humanity would see it just as food sources and not as friends, for example. That's been an interesting one. The suffering of Gaia, because we haven't understood that Gaia is a living energy being who has a voice and a bounty and so much to give, when we can live in harmony with Gaia energy, as our indigenous people have always done and know about. So we've watched Gaia's suffering, we've watched the animal kingdom suffering, we've watched the earth being ravaged by fire, by floods. We've watched human systems being ravaged by disease and by loneliness and by sorrow and feelings of disconnectivity. And of course, we love you, 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 because when we send that frequency of the purest heart love, of the baseline of essence love, that then becomes the fertilizer for people to awaken and to grow. Not the judgment, not the games of the them and us and you're good and you're not and you're responsible and the blame games. That's fine to play, but many people are now going, I'm done. So now it's this next up-leveling. We hold a frequency, an experiential frequency of, we are beings of light. We are beings of love. We are beings of peace. We are beings that have descended from the unified realms to play in the mesmerizing hologram of life on Earth, because life on Earth offers more holograms than nearly any other star system. There are, if you see it as movie theaters, not just balloons of reality, but as our light being friend said in the last message, it's just movie theaters. Planet Earth has more movie theaters than many star systems. And it's just your free will, your ability to go into that movie, this movie, play, watch it over and over. I remember my daughters, I think they watched The Sound of Music when they were young, something like 40 times. It was one of their favorite movies. They just go back and back, and I was always amazed that they could do it again and again, but it was giving them something. The Sound of Music was giving them a big energetic boost, which is why they wanted to see it again and again. And it's the same with holograms. Holograms give you a big energetic boost, or the drama, or it also gives you learning, and it gives you virtues, and it gives you wisdom. So there are not just holograms on Earth, but there are holograms through all of creation that are shared and individual. There are planetary holograms. The Pleiades has a very particular planetary hologram that beings have come into to play with and learn from. Our Arcturian star system, my galactic family, we have a very particular hologram regarding education and working with multidimensional, interdimensional energy field science. We have the Orion hologram, we have the Venus hologram. The Venus hologram is very interesting because the Venus hologram is kind of like Earth. There's quite a lot of movie theaters. There are a lot of bubbles of reality, holograms. And all of creation plays with holograms, but the difference is whether you know it's holographic or whether you believe it to be the reality. The reality. There is, as our light beings say, only one reality, and that is when you just dissolve back into the isness of the all that is also part of us. So we have this ability to relax back and just drop into this most amazing, interesting energy field that is the field that supports all holographic creation. We call it the baseline, and it's bubbling everywhere. And this flooding of our systems with this baseline energy, this relaxing, this dropping back of our whole system, this resting in baseline, this union with baseline, this acknowledgement of baseline frees us from all holograms and reveals the holographic nature of creation. This timelessness, the transcendence of time, the full presence back to the now moment also drops us back and frees us from the identification of holograms as being reality when they're just holograms. So you could see an awakening of people. It's like, da-da-da-da, I have my little balloon and I'm feeding it by my thoughts and my feelings. And it's one I like and I'm hanging on and no, this is the way it is. And maybe they get slammed by life because it's time to let go of that balloon by feeding it with different energy. And when life slams us enough, we often end up in, oh, I just can't do this anymore. And I'm ready to up-level my words, our words, not normal words, but I'm ready for the more. There must be something more. I'm done with the struggle of the dual-natured world. There's got to be something more. And when this real hard energy goes, oh, there's got to be something more, then the vibrational, the electromagnetic imprint into your hologram starts to fire it up, and like a starship changes your directional course in life. Now you're sending out a different electromagnetic frequency. So now you can start to meet and merge and blend with other holograms that contain the answers to your prayer and your heart longing. And so I'm seeing now, we are seeing you at this point of not just choice time, but clarity. Clarity. We are feeding these holograms all the time with our heart energy, our mental energy, and it's like, what do you want to feed? As we know, the clarity, just little balloons, da, 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 and like-minded people who are sharing in the co-creation of different holograms, gather together, da, 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 da. I have my balloon and this is my reality. Da, 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 da. I have my balloon. Ooh, our realities, our balloons are very similar, and they just electromagnetically hook up. And then you have exponential growth, because as more people blend their holograms, often simply because it's pre-agreed embodiment decision that you would hold that hologram at this particular time of evolution on Earth. So again, we're not saying that this hologram's right or that is wrong, because in the unified realms with our light being friends, the dominant energy is loving allowance. Because when you go deeper into this, not only has a very small part of you living on planet Earth in this body, but as you step back to your multidimensional nature and you go back into the web of one, you will experience your life right here, right now, in other star systems because of simultaneous time holograms. So when you come deep into silent stillness and deep into the I am pure love baseline, I am infinite, I am eternal, into timeless now, very present, you'll start to sense around you all these little balloons or bubbles that are your past, present, future, parallel lives, and all the holograms, past, present, future, parallel lives of all sentient life throughout creation, and it's a huge field. So you already exist in a fully enlightened state in the unified realms. You never left. You just expanded out to explore life in density in this particular sector of we call Earth, in the solar system, in the galaxy, in the universe. So let's finish here with something really interesting, and that is the energy transmissioning through the universal core. I won't tell the stories of how we know this or see this. We just want to say what is. And that is 5 frequencies we've talked about before that are streaming in through the universal core into the universal hologram. And those frequencies are all the green energy of healing, all the beautiful blue energy of love, all the golden energy of wisdom, all the red energy of power, and all the violet energy of massive alchemical transformation. So this is not just flooding through the universe, but it's flooding through the galactic core, it's flooding through the soul system, it's flooding through our sun. And so we are being bombarded now throughout our solar system with a 5 frequency up-leveling, which means that green energy is there for us to heal on all levels. For those who've been playing so deep in the dual-natured realms, you've picked up a bit of energetic damage, not just heart virtues and wisdom. There is also that violet energy of massive transformation and the love, all the love we need, all the wisdom we need, all the power we need to up-level, 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 up-level. So what are you ready to up-level into? Are you ready to let go of all the holograms that perpetuate separation? Just give your time and energy now to being a nourishing presence. Now again, this is just a select group of star seeds. Hello, my family. We are born to be the bringers of change. Our frequency is that of the unified realms. We are here to be peace in motion, love in motion, to hold the frequency of an awakened being who understands the holographic nature of all of creation and with loving acceptance accepts the perfection of all. For there is no right, there is no wrong, it's just co-creative free will games as we expand through different star systems to enjoy free will creations, but more than that, to hold frequency when a mass collective chooses to rise out of a hologram, having learned everything they wish to learn from that hologram and move into a brand new holographic vibrational construct of a different way of being. This is just some of what I've been learning in my own journeys and remembering we are the star nations. Everyone on earth has intergalactic multi-dimensional history because we are all plugged into the web of one, and from the web of one we've just gone into different holograms that for whatever reason have been something for us to play in, but it is holographic. Take this time to just give yourself a rest from all the games, to just drop back, to ask in your heart of hearts, show me, let me experience my true nature. Let me re-experience life in the unified realms. Let me experience now what it's like to be a being who radiates the most nourishing frequencies throughout all realms. Let me be free from all human limitations. Let me fulfill that which I was born to do at this time. Let all that transmissions through me be for the highest good of all. This is my heart's desire. Let me support my brothers and sisters through this transition time on earth with the greatest love and the greatest care and the greatest compassion. Allow me to find the right words at the right time to share that which beings around me may need to hear so that they too can up-level when they're ready. Let everything about my presence be that of a wise, loving, supportive, compassionate, awakened, aware being. Let all my gifts and training from all timelines that are relevant to this point in human evolution today, let them all flow in now from all other holograms and be here at my disposal so that, yes, I can fulfill that which I was born to do in this now moment of time on planet Earth. Yes, yes, yes. Can your heart say yes, 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 yes to this? Yes, I'm ready. Yes, I am here. Let me lock into the perfect hologram that is for my highest good and for the highest good of all sentient life through all realms now. Because our collective frequency on Earth is influencing the solar holograms. Our collective frequency is influencing the galactic holograms. Our collective frequency on Earth is influencing the universal holograms, and the universal keynote is influencing other universes as well. Our field of influence is huge. What is happening on planet Earth is a personal ascension time, remembrance time. A global ascension time, remembrance time, up-leveling, and a universal ascension, up-leveling time. May we enjoy the perfection of silent stillness, of clarity, and of every perfect now moment. This is Jasmuheen for the Intergalactic Federation of Worlds and for the Embassy of Peace on Earth.